God, and welcome once again to Daily Manna. And thanks be to God, God's allowed us to make it to Saturday. I'm excited about it and glad that you're with us. And I know we're going to be blessed as we study the chapter number 4 moving forward. We had a chance to really hear the revelation of God revealed through Jesus Christ, given unto John, who was on the island of Patmos. And while he was there, remember he heard a voice from behind him that he turned around to see the voice. I've always liked, still love that phrase. And had a chance to hear about different churches, the churches of which we've had an opportunity to thoroughly review, the churches of Ephesus, if I'm not mistaken, and then went on to the church of Smyrna, and then went to the church of Pergamum, then the church of Thyatira, and then went to the church of Sardis, and then went to the church also of Philadelphia, ended with the church of Laodicea. Had a chance to review all of these churches and had a chance to hear an interesting paradigm in the first 5. And those first 5 churches had everything to do with something that they were doing good, and then he shifted to that which was the offense or that which he had against them, the ought, and then gave a recommendation for how it could be fixed and asked them to do so. Got to the church of Philadelphia, if you remember, and everything about the church of Philadelphia was positive. That was a word of encouragement for them to continue to hold fast to where they were. Then went to the church of Laodicea, and everything with Laodicea was negative. There was not a positive anywhere. There was a negative. He challenged them because they were neither hot nor cold. He wanted to therefore spew or spit them out of his mouth. Consequently, he challenges them to make up their minds. You got to choose either be hot or cold. If you're going to find yourself ever maturing, you got to find yourself being refined, become golden. You got to dress yourself up and therefore become pure and cover up that which has been evil with a robe of white, and therefore have your eyes changed because you need salve placed on your eyes to see. You need to have a difference in you. And then he encouraged them to become overcomers, because as an overcomer, you become like Jesus, being able to sit with the Father at the right hand. Well, that is the churches of which he's dealt with. Then all of a sudden, we get to chapter 4, and there is a shift in the conversation. It says, after this I looked, and there before me was a door standing open in heaven. Now go back earlier, because I need you to take the time to hear again these words inside of to Philadelphia. Remember, he says, these are the words to him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. I know your deeds. I see I've placed before you an open door. That same phraseology, open door, comes back inside of chapter number 4. Was a door standing open where? In heaven, singular. Okay? Now the reason why I want you to hear heaven singular is primarily because when you have a chance to hear what is found inside of Paul's second letter to the church at Corinthians, when he talks about he was taken to the third heaven, the implication is there are heavens, plural, but but when he went, he had a door open in heaven, singular. And when you hear Jesus, when he is raised from the dead, he said, all power in heaven, singular, and earth is in my hands. All this is important because when you hear that, that means that there are multiple heavens according to what Paul's revelation says, third heaven. But Jesus has only been given the power of heaven and earth, thus allowing us to see the difference between Jesus and the Father. The Father has all power because his power finds itself being extended to heavens. Jesus' power is singular in heaven and earth. And come back and look at this. And the voice I had first heard speaking to me like a trumpet said, come up here, and I will show you what must take place after this. In essence, I want your eyes to be open to behold what is to come beyond the conversation I've had given you regarding the 7 churches. I've told you about the 7 churches. I've given you words of instruction and encouragement for them. But now I need you to see what's going to happen after this. At once I saw, I was in the spirit, and there before me was a throne in heaven with someone sitting on it. And the one who sat there had the appearance of jasper and carnelian. A rainbow resembling an emerald encircled the throne. Surrounding the throne were 24 other thrones, and seated on them were 24 elders. Wow. They were dressed in white and had crowns of gold on their head. From the throne came flashes of lightning, rumblings, and peals of thunder. Before the throne, 7 lamps were blazing. These are the 7 spirits of God. Also, before the throne, there was what looked like a sea of glass, clear as crystal. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures. They were covered with eyes in front and in back. Hear that again. In the center around the throne were 4 living creatures, and they were covered with eyes in front and in back. Interestingly enough, I want us to because this is a major digestion, because it's a matter of us having a chance to see the holies of holies throne, the throne of God, and the place where God resides, seated. The appearance of him is amazing as he gives the description of how he saw the divine, featured in what might be considered to be jasper and carnelian, and with a rainbow resembling an emerald encircled around the throne. That's powerful. But around him, around that same spot, was 24 chairs and 24 places of people were sitting. And these places represented places of 24 elders. And they found themselves with crowns, and while they were dressed in white. And from where they were, there were these flashing lights, blazing. And ultimately, these represented the 7 spirits. And ultimately, when you see that and hear that, it allows you to just hear the grandeur of what that place looked like. Strangely enough, when Paul had a chance to go to the 3rd heaven, he was not permitted to tell what he saw. John, the revelator, John, is given permission to tell what he saw. Peter couldn't, John could. The interesting thing about that is that John does not get something to keep him humble. Paul gets something that keeps him humble. He gets a thorn in the flesh, a messenger of Satan to buffet him. John doesn't. But both of them receive heavenly visions. Ooh, Lord have mercy. They both got heavenly visions. And the visions were about things that are and that are to come. And imagine you being able to see what heaven looked like, what the throne room of God looked like, and to hear that there were beasts that had eyes wrapped around their heads, eyes in front and back, in essence seeing everything, knowing everything, observing all things, which means that they were able to behold in every corner, every crevice, that which was going on, eyes around them, seeing all things. And that means when we find ourselves trying to do something in secret, hey, what we're being able to hear is that God knows. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. And these places in which this wonderful throne room was all in honor of God, and were all persons who were giving sacrifice, humility, and honor to God. And God was being glorified. El Shaddai, the great I am, being glorified in a great exalted place, high and being lifted up. train filling the temple. He is being glorified. He is being magnified. And yet this God, this amazing God that has persons who already worship him, who already honored him, considered it necessary to create humanity and to come amongst humanity to find out if humanity would love him and honor him based upon who God was and who God is in their lives without being forced to. Could they follow him without being made to give them the right to choose God or to discard God? Humanity was given the choice. And ultimately, children of God, so many times we have missed the mark. The creatures that sit around the throne of God can't help it. That's the assignment. They are in a place where they are always honoring the great I am. And you and I have been given a choice to honor him. They made to honor him, made to glorify him, made to see for him, made to allow him to behold. We have been given the opportunity to choose him. And how often do we mess up because we don't choose him? We choose everything but him. But I still love the song, I'd rather have Jesus more than anything. Choosing him means he really is the author and the finisher of my faith. Choosing him means I acknowledge his glory and I have not gotten a glimpse of what's there. But when I consider the works of your hands, Lord have mercy, the moon and the stars which thou hast ordained, I must say, what is man that thou art mindful of him? When I see what you've created, when I see what you made, I got to ask myself, who am I that you would even consider me worthy to therefore risk your only begotten son for me? And then I come back and say how great thou art. My. How great thou art. I see the rolling thunder. My. When I see the mountains, when I see the beauty of God, when I hear the rolling thunder and I see all the works of your hand, I got to ask myself, what is man? I want you to come to church tomorrow with remembering, reflecting on the greatness of God. We sometimes forget how great God is and how big God is. Those persons in the throne room acknowledge it. They see it. We do not see it with our natural eyes. But I want you to come with the beholding of the greatness of God. I'm in by talking about my time going into a church, and I know I'm a little long today. My time when I was going into the church and some of the churches that were in Jerusalem when I went to Israel. When I went into those churches, a great percentage of them, I had to bow to go in. I had to bend down to come in the door. And I wondered initially, why was that? Until I understood that the buildings were designed that I had to humble myself. I had to bend over. I couldn't walk in straight up. I had to bend down to walk in. I had to humble myself walking in to acknowledge by behavior and body the amazement and the awesomeness of God. If we could ever allow ourselves to be humbled before him, coming into his presence, acknowledging who he is, then we would really have a different form of worship. The oddness of God, the awesomeness of God, the majesty of God, if we could ever be able to envelop it, it would change who we are and how we function. And if we could take that away from church and live it out within our community, our interaction with one another would be different. Oh my God. If we could just get to that place where we recognize that the hymn writer was correct when he wrote these lyrics and these words. O Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hand hath made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displays. And when I think that God, his son not sparing, sent him to die, I scarce can take it in that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take my sins away. When Christ shall come with shout of acclamation and take me home, with joy shall fill my heart, then I shall bow in humble adoration and then proclaim, my God, how great thou art. How great thou art. How great thou art. I want us to go through this day remembering the awesomeness, the majesty, and the awesomeness of who God is. Bring it to church tomorrow. And let's see how the Lord blesses us. I'm over my time. I'm out of time. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Church is 9:30. I look forward to you being there on the east side. It starts at 10 o'clock. Know that I love you. Thank you for your time. And God bless.